Hi there, welcome to this video where I discuss and read from the Secret Doctrine. I've made a few other videos, so please check all those last parts out, and let's jump right to this. So here HPB was just telling us that without having the correct keys, you cannot decipher an original MSS, because as we saw that the Rig Vedas need so much of commentary. They need the Brahmanas, which are sort of a key to understanding the Vedas. But we discovered that how the Brahmanas themselves need a key to open its inner meaning. So there are layers and layers and layers of very subtle nuances, intricate meanings. This is the inner soul doctrine. So this page, there's really not much here that I want to read from, because she just kind of elaborates on this idea how it's been lost, how Max Muller has really not successfully translated a lot of this information that was given to him, because we have this okay, let me read to you about Swami Dayanand Saraswati. Let me get back. While a prominent Sinhalese priest is assured the writer that it was very well known that the most important Buddhist tracts belonging to the sacred canon were stored away in countries and places inaccessible to the European pundits, the late Swami Dayanand Saraswati, the greatest Sanskritist of his day in India, assured some members of the Theosophical Society of the same fact with regard to ancient Brahmanical works. When told that Professor Max Muller has declared to the audience of his lectures that the theory that there was a primeval preternatural revelation granted to the fathers of the human race finds but few supporters at present, the holy and learned man laughed. His answer was suggestive. If Mr. Moksha Muller, he thought his name was Max, Moksha Muller, Moksha is Nirvana, so that's a funny term there. As he pronounced the name, were a Brahmin and came with me, I might take him to a Gupta cave, a secret crypt, near the Okhi Mata in the Himalayas, where he could soon find out that what crossed the Kala Pani, the black waters of the ocean from India to Europe, were only bits of rejected copies of some passages from our sacred books. There was a primeval revelation, and it still exists, nor will it ever be lost to the world. Okay, so it's important to understand that the secret doctrine has been hidden. Okay, and this is one book that actually gives a lot. So we are now playing more on that, so we'll get straight to something else. So here again we have all the problems that the Orientalists are going through, and how they don't have all the keys and they don't understand the subtle meanings. Okay, so we don't need to go through that. Okay. In the efforts to collect together the many skeins of unwritten history, it is a bold step for the Orientalists to take, to deny a priori everything that does not dovetail with their special conclusions. So whatever did not fit their particular understanding and however they wanted to interpret it, they misinterpreted and mistranslated the Vedas time and again. Okay, so thus, while new discoveries are daily made of great arts and sciences, having existed far back in the night of time, even the knowledge of writing is refused to some of the most ancient nations, and they are credited with barbarism instead of culture. Yet the traces of an immense civilization, even in Central Asia, are still to be found. The civilization is undeniably prehistoric. And how can there be a civilization without a literature in some form, without annals or chronicles? Common sense alone ought to supplement the broken links in the history of departed nations. The gigantic unbroken wall of the mountains that hem in the whole tableland of Tibet, from the upper course of the river Hyangho down to the Karakoram hills, witnessed a civilization during millenniums of years, and would have strange secrets to tell mankind. The eastern and central portions of these regions, the Nan Sham and the 18th Tag, were once upon a time covered with cities that could well vie with Babylon. A whole geological period has swept over the land since those cities breathed their last. As the mounds of shifting sand and the sterile and now dead soil of the immense central plains of the basin of Tarim testify. The borderlands alone are superficially known to the traveller. Within those tablelands of sand there is water, and fresh oases are found blooming there, wherein no European foot has ever yet ventured or trodden the now treacherous soil. Amongst those verdant oases, there are some which are entirely inaccessible even to the native profane traveller. Hurricanes may tear up the sand and sweep whole plains away. They are powerless to destroy which is beyond their reach. Built deep in the bowels of the earth, the subterranean stores are secure, and as the entrances are concealed in such oases, there is little fear that anyone should discover them, even should several armies invade the sandy wastes where not a pool, not a bush, not a house is seen, and the mountain range forms a rugged screen round the parched flats of the dry desert. But there is no need to send the reader across the desert. So basically she says is that there are these places which are not of the 3D realm, which are 5D, 7D, 11D frequency, harmonics frequency, okay? So they are untouched by the laws of physics that govern us. They are untouchable by, say, currents, hurricanes, tornadoes, tsunamis, twisters. Nothing can touch them, and no one can enter these places unless you vibrate at a certain frequency. So these are not physical places where such information is stored and will be stored till humanity is ready to receive them. Okay, this is the very truth of it all. There exist such places where you cannot pinpoint on Google Map, you cannot look through GPS, it will not take you there because your GPS cannot read that place, your Google Map cannot identify that place. Okay, maybe in a particular day a glimpse of it may come into 3D. We've seen these beautiful kind of ethereal castles and dreamlands appear above China, and we see sudden cities come into focus. That can happen because these places are not 3D, they are 5D, 7D, 11D, and they exist right with us. Okay, like the jinns, they exist in the ether, they're right with us, occupying the same space but just a different frequency. Right? The oasis of Cherchen, for instance, situated about 4,000 feet above the level of the river Cherchen Darya, is surrounded with the ruins of archaic towns and cities in every direction. There are some 3,000 human beings Some 3,000 human beings represent the relic. represent the relics of about 100 extinct nations and races, the very names of which are now unknown to our ethnologists. So there were people before us, like Homo sapiens. There were species before us, and after us were giants before us. So lot of diversity existed on earth that is now no longer there. Okay, we see every day mass groups of animals are going extinct, right? But this is a cycle, and it repeats itself. This is a cycle that okay, so an anthropologist would feel more than embarrassed to class divide and subdivide them. The more so as the respective descendants of all those antediluvian races and tribes know as little of their own forefathers themselves, as if they had fallen from the moon. When questioned about their origin, they reply that they know not whence their fathers had come, but had heard that their first or earliest men were ruled by the great genii of the deserts. This may be put down to ignorance and superstition, yet in view of the teachings of the secret doctrine, the answer may be based upon primeval tradition. Alone the tribe of Khurasan claims to have come from what is now known as Afghanistan, long before the days of Alexander, and brings legendary lore to the effect as corroboration. The Russian traveler Colonel Przewalski found quite close to the oasis of Chershan the ruins of two enormous cities, the oldest of which was, according to local tradition, ruined 3,000 years ago by a hero and a giant, and the other by the Mongolians in the 10th of our era. The emplacement of the two cities is now covered, owing to shifting sand and the desert wind, with strange and heterogeneous relics, with broken china and kitchen utensils and human bones. The natives often find copper and gold coins, melted silver, ingots, diamonds, and turquoises, and what is most remarkable, broken glass. Coffins of some undecaying wood or material also, within which beautifully preserved, unembalmed bodies were found. The male mummies are all extremely tall, powerful-built men with long waving hair. A vault was found with 12 dead men sitting in it. Another time, in a separate coffin, a young girl was discovered by us. Her eyes were closed, with golden discs, and the jaws held firm by a golden circlet running from under the chin across the top of the head. Clad in a narrow woolen garment, her bosom was covered with golden stars, the feet being left naked. So there's so many peoples that anthropologists are not aware of even today. We discover new species all the time. If you look at this video of deep sea marine life, you'll be stunned at the true beauty of the deep dark seas. So hope you're enjoying that. Join me for the next segment. Thank you.